In December 2018, a woman received a mysterious email. It claimed that her 15-year-old son, Ellis, was behind the theft of $24 million. For his mother, it was a complete shock. In her eyes, her son had always been a model teenager. But when she showed the email to Ellis himself, everything was confirmed. Her son turned out to be one of the world's biggest cybercriminalists. This is the story of a 15-year-old kid who managed to steal $24 million in a single night. And the most shocking part, after all the trials and investigations, he walked away without punishment. Ellis was born in 2003 in New York, into a family of Russian immigrants. When he was around 10 years old, because of high housing prices, his parents moved to the suburb of Irvington. At school, Ellis was a diligent student, played on the soccer team and spent most of his free time on his Xbox. In 2016, while playing Call of Duty, he was more fascinated not by the gameplay itself, but the voice chat. There he could insult and troll other players without facing any consequences. But one day, after a heated exchange, one of the players replied, "Bro, how's the weather in Irvington?" Ellis froze. How could this guy possibly know where he lived? It turned out the player was using a program that reveals the IP address of whoever you are talking to. For Ellis, that discovery changed everything. At first, he used these tools just to scare opponents and friends, but soon he realized this could become something much bigger. A few months later, Ellis stumbled upon OG Users, a forum where hackers gathered to share guides and hacking techniques. There he joined a group specializing in stealing usernames on Instagram and Twitter. Their method was simple but effective. Inject malicious code into a site, gain partial access to its servers, and then take our accounts. The rarer and shorter the username, the higher its value. For example, a username like John was desired by thousands of people worldwide, and someone out there was always willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for it. Short handles and single nouns were especially valuable. Their number was strictly limited. Most stolen accounts sold for a couple of $1,000, but every now and then something much more valuable came along. For instance, on Twitter he managed to grab the handle PA and kept it for himself. That single account alone could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but soon Ellis wanted more. When $1,000 for a stolen username stopped feeling special, Ellis discovered a new method: SIM swapping. And with this scam, hackers weren't just making thousands anymore, they were making millions. The scheme itself was simple. A hacker would call a telecom company, the one providing SIM cards and mobile services, then for just a few $100 bribe an employee to transfer the victim's phone onto the hacker's device. From that moment, the hacker had full control. They could reset passwords, receive two-factor authentication codes, and hijack every account linked to that number, from bank logins and email to social media profiles. This method first appeared in 2016 when SMS two-factor authentication became widespread. Back then, SIM swapping wasn't yet popular, but it was seen as simple and highly effective way to break into accounts. For Ellis, it became a brand new challenge. A couple of months later, one of his hacking partners, known as Harry, suggested going after a high-profile target, Michael Terpin, a crypto millionaire who could have hundreds of millions sitting in his wallets and bank accounts. The problem? Terpin had already been a victim of SIM swapping once before, which meant the second attack had to be perfectly planned. On January 7, 2018, the night Terpin was scheduled to speak at a crypto conference. Ellis contacted his inside man at AT&T to gain access to Terpin's SIM card. Once the swap was done, Ellis and Harry hacked into Terpin's email account and ran a custom script that automatically searched through his inbox for passwords. In one of the emails, they found a text file called case, containing private keys to multiply crypto wallets. Terpin later denied it, but investigators confirmed that one of those wallets actually held 900 million worth of Ethereum. Unfortunately for the hackers, the wallet was protected by an additional password, making it impossible to crack. Still, by draining the accessible funds, Ellis and Harry managed to steal around 3 million triggered tokens, nearly 10% of the entire supply in circulation. At the time, their market value was a staggering 24 million. It was enough money to fulfill every dream and desire. But there was a major problem. Trigger tokens could be deactivated and laundering them was extremely difficult. The only solution was to exchange them quickly for Bitcoin. At that time, the only platform capable of handling such a conversation was Binance. But due to strict deposit and withdrawal limits, Ellis and Harry realized they needed intermediaries. So Ellis posted a tweet openly announcing that he was looking for people willing to help with the exchange. In return, he promised each of them a payout of $20,000 to $50,000. Ellis began moving the stolen tokens in two batches. First around 500,000 worth and then another $1 million. But when the second transfer hit the account of one supposed middleman, a man named Nick Truglia, everything went wrong. Nick simply changed the password and drained the funds straight into his own wallet. That night, Harry was so furious, he seriously considered hiring a hitman to eliminate Nick, but Ellis talked him down. After all, they still had $20 million left and risk in prison, or worse. Over another million just wasn't worth it. They split the money evenly, while Nick kept the stolen million for himself. The logical move would have been to invest it, but Ellis was only 15 at the time. Instead, he chose to burn through the fortune without hesitation. He bought a $50,000 Patek Philippe watch, dressed head to toe in Gucci and Louis Vuitton, rented exotic cars and even purchased an Audi RA. He flew on private jets and kept $100,000 in cash under his bed. Yet on the surface, his life looked almost ordinary. He still went to school, played on the soccer team and spent evenings on his Xbox. At this stage, he walked away from hacking entirely. Nick, however, the same one who scammed Ellis and Harry out of $1 million, lived an even more outrageous lifestyle. He rented out entire clubs, flew on private jets, buying luxury cars and moved into high-end apartments. Months passed and it seems like the heist might remain a secret forever. But everything changed when Nick started bragging on Twitter. He posted things like, SIM swapped my own debt, stole $24 million but still can't make friends, stole $24 million but can't quit drugs, stole $24 million but can't stop stealing. Unlike Ellis, who at least tried to maintain a front of normalcy by flipping sneakers for side income, Nick had no legitimate source of money at all. To justify his extravagant lifestyle, Nick kept diving deeper into hacking and theft. His reckless behavior only drew more attention until he finally landed on the radar of federal agents. During one of his SIM swap attacks, Nick Truglia was caught. When investigators searched his phone, they uncovered clear evidence linking him to the multi-million-dollar theft from crypto mogul Michael Terpin. On the very day Terpin's funds vanished, Nick had messaged one of his friends, "I'm a millionaire, I'm not joking, I've got 100 bitcoins." Alongside 100 BTC, agents also found roughly 70 million across his bank accounts and crypto wallets, all of it stolen. Under mounting pressure from federal authorities, Nick finally cracked and gave up his partner Ellis. A few months later, on December 3, 2018, Ellis' mother received a chilling email. It claimed that her 15-year-old son was behind the $24 million theft from Michael Terpin. For her, it was devastating. She had always believed Ellis to be nothing more than a well-behaved teenager. At that moment, Ellis realized his luxurious life was over. There was no point in hiding anymore. He chose to cooperate with federal agents in hopes of reducing his punishment. He confessed to everything and returned the remaining funds to Terpin. On December 1st, 2022, Nick Truglia was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Then on July 10th, 2025, he received an additional 12 years behind bars. Ellis, however, walked free. Many believe this was simply because he was only 15-year-old at the time of the crime, but others speculate he managed to buy his way out, and that not all of the stolen money ever made it back. Here's why: in January 2018, when Ellis first stole $10 million, that sum was worth around 650 Bitcoin. By December of that same year, those 650 BTC had dropped in value to just 2.5 million. If Ellis had immediately cashed out into dollars, he could still be sitting on roughly $7.5 million. One night, armed robbers even broke into his house searching for the hidden stash. During questioning, they insisted Ellis still had money left from their heist. After the whole saga, Ellis went on to enroll at New York University and later founded a software company. Today he works in cybersecurity using the very same hacking skills he once used, now to protect others from people like his younger self. The story isn't just about a massive heist or a lavish lifestyle. It's about how dangerous it is to throw around money you didn't earn, and how fast and brutally the truth always comes out, and about how frugal a dream life becomes when it's built on someone else's loss. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and use the link in the description and get up to 30,000 bonuses with the Bybit.